Hello, beautiful conscious creators, masters, divine beings. I am so grateful to be able to share what I'm sharing today because this is also related to personal experiences. So I think the more, and this is what my bestie roommate said. She's like, why don't you share more of what's what you've gone through, or not gone through, but like what you've changed and shifted for yourself. And I'm realizing now I should, because I think that it allows people to relate. And I think that's what I've always wanted to see with YouTubers, especially with, conscious creation and knowing that you are the absolute divine God of your reality and the one that decides and chooses. So today I'm going to talk about discernment. I am. You know why? Because it's something it hit me like a lightning bolt right now. Like a lightning bolt in the middle of a rainstorm in the middle of Texas. I don't even know if that's a thing. Anyways, I'm just trying to relate here. But so I've talked about this in a few videos. We create everything. We choose everything, okay? So everything is an assumption. An assumption is just something that you keep thinking and you've just solidified it into your consciousness. So whether that's thinking that you're not good enough or you're not worthy, which is impossible. I'll go into that into another video. Eventually, or not eventually, but just it instantly creates, but obviously it's more different to change it when it's been engraved deeper. Sometimes words they sound limiting, even though I don't mean what I'm trying to say. So just bear with me. I'm going to sometimes clarify, like, I'm going to go like this because it doesn't necessarily mean that's what I'm using the word for, but I'm sure a lot of people have experienced this when trying to explain consciousness to someone else, because, we've created this human language, but sometimes we have added the limitation behind it. Okay. It's just how it is. So I've talked about authenticity. Okay. I've talked about that we all choose everything in our life, which we do. So then how does discernment relate to this? And discernment relates because you have an inner knowing. We know, obviously you're watching this for a reason. You've clicked on certain things regarding the truth for a reason. And if you hear something you don't like and you feel weird, that's for a reason. And obviously there's a difference between feeling uncomfortable because it's the old self versus, no, I'm actually just feeling this way because I believe this and it's just what I want to believe. For example, me at one point when I used to believe certain things in the spiritual community, I believed them, so it didn't really feel anything. But when I started to wake up to the deeper understanding, those things felt weird to me. And I just used discernment of, okay, it feels weird. I don't associate with it. So it doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. It means that I've maybe outgrown it or I've changed my consciousness. So I'm going to listen to that. And because of that, I don't have to follow that advice anymore. Simple. And obviously, I don't think that's, as long as you're playing the human game, we're going to have preferences and desires. And this is just part of it, because if you really didn't, then you would be listening to absolutely every person out there and you would never know what you would like or what feels right for you and what doesn't. And then what's the uniqueness in that? So discernment is nothing to be fearful of, and it's not limiting. It's just, do I prefer this or I do not prefer it? And sometimes we do things that we don't prefer only to realize that we prefer something else, and that's perfect. So it's all perfect. Again, discernment is important because if someone's telling you something like drink moon water, or they're telling you that you need to repeat something 18 million times to manifest, or they're telling you that you have to believe absolutely everything that you're saying before you even ever experience it, which I've talked about in another video, because I didn't believe that I was whole and healthy. I just knew this formula and applied it, and eventually I jumped into that reality. But it didn't mean that I knew in that state of consciousness to feel whole and healthy when I wasn't in the state of whole and healthy. Okay? So if you're being told certain things and you don't feel right about it, just be grateful, use your discernment, and then don't listen anymore. And that applies to me. If I'm saying something and you're watching this video and you're like, I don't like this. Okay, then don't watch. Just move on, or take what you like and don't take what you like. And that's the beauty of being in this reality. We're all unique and we're all perfect divine gods and we all have our own preferences. Otherwise, it'd be really boring if we were all the same and had the same hair color and the same eyes. And there's not one of us that is the exact same. And that's so incredible. Just think of how beautiful that is. Okay. So discernment, this is something that happened to me. I'll give an example. Let's say you used to be friends with someone and you've been in a relationship. I'm just going to use friendship for this because I think we talk about, loving, like lovers or SPs a lot in this community. That's probably just an assumption and I could change that, but I don't really care. So friendships, okay? Let's say you're in a friendship and of course, identity is important. So who are you claiming to be in the friendship? So let's say, really loud car, my bad. So coming back, recalibrating. So let's say that in the friendship, now you are understanding this new reality. You're understanding that maybe your concept of self has changed. You're now claiming that I'm always chosen, I'm loved, I'm worthy, I'm respected. I love that one. I'm respected. I'm always respected. Okay? I have the best relationships with my friends. And then you even go deeper then and saying, like, in your relation to the human beings, you say, like, my friends treat me with respect. I have the best friends in the world. So you're relating yourself to the world. Like, you are the person that has the best friends. Okay? So now let's say you're in a friendship and they start doing some really shady things, or they're just not showing up the way that you've decided a friend is, you prefer to show up in your reality. This is where I call it spiritual gaslighting, okay? Because we're taught now, and I've been in, of course, everything's love. So I've been told in certain communities, love and light, always spread love and light. Always, you have to be loving and loving and loving. Of course, you are love. But there's a difference between being loving and then being naive and ignoring something that's clearly not preferred and not serving you anymore. If you are the version of you that is respected and you're consistently going back to a situation where you're disrespected, you're now not acting as that person, as that version of yourself in alignment with that. So that's not loving to you. That doesn't make sense, okay? Why would you, again, let's say your best friend in the entire world was just saying really mean things about you, okay? And they told everyone your deepest, darkest secrets, and you found that out. Now, and they consistently do something like this. Obviously, like, forgiveness is important. I mean, and I'm not saying that you hold a grudge with them, but do you really feel that you're just going to allow that treatment over and over and over and over and over? No. In your mind, you're going to decide, I'm always respected. This is then just going to show you clearly where, let's say if this is consistently happening for months, it is going to show you where you haven't changed yet in your perception of who you are and in relation to others. And so then that's a great mirror to show you it's time to decide that different, okay? Especially if it's been, oh my gosh, if it's been going on for years, then come on. Then I've talked about this. Things are instant, of course, but there's a certain point where you have to say, okay, clearly I'm not changing, and that's okay. But in the meantime of deciding something, if you're simultaneously accepting the opposite behavior, then you're not acting from the true authentic version of yourself. Because I will tell you now, I used to do that and would gaslight myself and be like, well, no, I have to be loving to everyone, so I have to take this behavior, or I have to say that's okay. And I felt so small. But recently I've realized, oh my gosh, how could I miss this? Acting from that aligned version of me doesn't mean now I accept the opposite behavior. That makes no sense, and that's going back to serving two masters. So I decided to be authentic to me, and cut out some friendships. And they can show up different, of course, but usually when your concept of self changes, or when you're who you are, you just drastically wake up to the knowing that you are the chooser of your reality. You just may not want to be friends with the same people anymore, and that's totally okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Of course, they can always change because it's not them changing, it's new versions of them. But when you're not attached to that, when you're not attached to that version of them, or you're not attached to any version of them, you're just going within and saying, this is how I am in relationships, this is how I am with my friendships, this is how I am relating to myself, let it naturally do its thing, okay? I think it's easier than trying to, sometimes it's too difficult where you're at to see the linear time-space reality different for that person, because you just may not be able to forgive or see them different. You're going to start telling the same story of your friendship, and then when you're doing that, you're just again choosing that version of them. So just remind yourself, it's okay. Yeah, you may feel like you're losing something, of course, and I have my own story of this with my own dad, with specific a health thing that I ended up choosing different version of him. But the only way that I allowed that new version to come through is I honestly realized nothing was lost and I'd be okay without it. Not to say that I'm okay without it because it's never going to happen, but I knew I gave it to myself within. And I talk about this success story on Eric's channel, The Power of I Am. But I'm going to do my own success story, like the deeper understanding of how I did it. But use discernment. Discernment's, it's your intuition, like who you are is there for a reason. Okay, otherwise you wouldn't even be here. I don't even know why. If you weren't going to allow yourself to be the unique expression of yourself, then why you're here obviously to be the unique expression of yourself. Stop pretending not to be. So if you are in a situation right now where reality is showing you the opposite and someone's treating you like absolute crap, why are you allowing that? Take a step back. Say, hey, I don't agree with this. It's okay. Like, let's just take a step back. Forgive, move on, but don't let yourself be abused and then tell yourself in consciousness, oh, I'm the person that is always respected, but then not respect yourself. This is so important. This is the biggest thing in the community that needs to be talked about, because we gaslight ourselves all the time. We need to be so loving and so, love everyone, ha ha ha, but you're actually not being loving and authentic, because I know most people are in their head saying, well, why are they treating me like shit? This doesn't feel good. And then you're like, hi, oh my God, let's make this work. You have to just decide if you're going to be the same in this new reality. Are you going to be the same on all fronts? Are you going to be authentic on all levels? Then you need to act completely, consume yourself in that identity fully, through and through, 110%. Be it, consume it, act from that. So again, I had this happen to me. Certain friendships just leave my life, and that's okay. And at first I was holding on for dear life, and I'm like, wait a second. Why am I holding on? If I claim something and this is naturally showing me that it's leaving, why am I holding on? I'm just holding on to an old identity. I'm like, the mask, I have to keep it on. And it's like, no, I can't, but fighting. The moment I just allow that to dissolve, it's like I didn't even think about it. It just completely, boom, new reality that never even happened. And I can't even recall some of the things because they're not that version. But for the sake of this video, I've had these experiences and they're beautiful, and they always, and when you trust and you know within you that you are the power of I am, and the I am is God in action, and whatever you say is true for you will be true, then you have complete and total faith and understanding that it's going to be better anyways than you could have ever imagined. So even if you lose this person, something better will come. So when you act from that knowingness, don't get stuck in the middle in the hows. Stay to the end of it. The now in the end. The end in the now. But just allow your discernment to shine through. If you're naturally led to something and then now you're just like, oh, wait, actually, no. What if that was you, the version of you that you're claiming now, leading you into a legitimate pot of gold, but then you try to, for a second, go back to an old identity, and you just immediately shifted to that reality. Just flow, let it flow. And you let it flow by just like claiming everything is good for you and it's all perfect and it's all happening for you, and keep acting from that place. But don't accept behavior that isn't aligned with what you say that you are and how you deserve to be treated. If you're being abused, leave. Okay? Leave. Don't stay. I don't think any rational person would say that. Like, or if you're in the spiritual community and you're gaslighting someone into saying that, well then obviously then you should be terrified for that person because they're allowing certain things in their consciousness. Clearly, nothing wrong with that. But again, treat yourself the way you want to treat yourself. And only accept the treatment that you deserve. Use your discernment for everything, okay? And just because someone has done something longer than you, or they're a coach, or even me saying this, they don't know more than you. You are the ones that know everything. So you act from that place. Listen to yourself, because you are the I am, the creator. You are source. Wouldn't you trust source for the answers? Like, source created this entire, all the multiverses in the world. And we don't question that. We don't question how the stars are burning the way they are, and how it's night and day, and how the water consistently, stays on this planet, or how people are born and go on. Like, we don't question all these things. So then why are you questioning that power within you, that is you, that has created all these things? You gotta really think about that one, okay? Because if you don't, I will tell you right now, you will just be stuck in this cycle of pretending that you don't hold the power, and that the way someone is treating you is about them. It's about you and what you decide and what you allow, okay? And this ties into victim mentality, because people will be like, I can't believe she treated me this way, and I'm just like, they did this to me. No, don't be a victim. It's okay. Yeah, maybe say to yourself, I can't believe I allowed this treatment from myself and created this, but now guess what? It's okay. I'm just going to change it. But the only reason you're complaining and asking people to sob for you is because you're feeding into the ego that wants to keep you the same. And so the victim mentality is something that is adopted by so many people in this consciousness, or collective unconsciousness. I heard that one. I love that, collective unconsciousness. Zachary Hickory said that, and it's amazing because it is the collective unconsciousness. They're not conscious. That's why they're believing things that are an illusion. And so they tell you that it's okay. It's okay. You were wrongfully treated, and you should sulk in that. No, you're empowered in that. You are the one who allows everything. So use that to say, cool, now going forward, I'm going to claim this, and I'm going to be this identity. But if you do that and then go back to saying how sad you were that this person treated you that way 10 years ago, you're jumping back to that version, okay? Or a version that's similar to that. So get out of the victim mentality. It's not helping you. It's never going to help you. Take it from me. I understand that. And if people could come on and say all these things, and you know what, I've been through all that, and I've had my own experience, so I don't even care, because I know what's true, and I know based on the response of what I'm getting, where they're at. And you could tell if someone's still in victim mentality. Shit, I could tell when I'm going into a victim mentality. It's pretty much scarce now. I slap myself in the face of like, Santa, you created this, you chose this. Okay, cool, now moving on. Don't judge myself for it, but I don't stay there. I don't want to stay there. Why would I stay there? I'm creating more ways to be a victim. I don't want to be a victim. I'm not a victim. No one's a real victim. You're an empowered being deciding to play in a victim illusion. So get out of that right now. I'm telling you, get out of that. Keep your discernment. If you're watching something you don't like, why are you watching it? Stop watching it. You have the choice to click next or to never see it again. It's funny how we do that, right? Like, we watch something, we're like, I hate this so much. And you can just keep consuming it because it's the ego just feeding that in. 3, only accept what you want for yourself and what you'd want for others. Okay? Just please, for the love of God within you, for the love of the God within you, please, if you are being treated a certain way right now that is so not loving and even hurting you, remove yourself from the situation. Remove yourself. Physically, the environment, but work on the inner dialogue, the narrative, the conception of yourself, okay? The conception of yourself, the concept, oh my God, the conception. Seriously though, because even if you remove yourself, but then don't change that story, you're going to just back in those situations, okay? But still remove yourself. I've been in situations I had to remove myself. Lovingly, like, come on, let's go. But let's change it now. Okay? So that's it. Today's video, I needed to say that. I've seen it in my reality, and it felt so potent to, it just, I don't even know how else to describe it. I just knew I needed to talk about it. That's it. And if you guys feel called to work with me, or you want to ask any questions, you can go to the description, and everything is in there, ways to work with me. You don't need to, but yeah, sometimes I know we do need, or not need. We would benefit greatly from a third party perspective, or another eye on. Oh my gosh, it's the end of the day, I guess, and I'm feeling stunning. We need another view to show us how we may be stuck in a identity, or pretending to be stuck in an identity. And then obviously you seeking that advice from me is just you telling you. But love you guys. Thanks so much for the support. I'm really grateful. This has been so fun to just speak and to connect with people. And yeah, I'm really, really honored, inspired, and humbled. So love you all. Have the best, just the most incredible freaking day ever, because you deserve that, or night, or whatever time it is. And you are God. Never forget that. And if you do, just remember it again.